Hello everybody. Well, today we're going to be taking a look at OpenSuSe Tumbleweed. So before we even do that, I'll just give you a little bit of information about myself. So I've been using Linux since I believe it was like 1998, and one of the first operating systems that I tried was, I believe, Red Hat. I used Mandrake. I actually went to Walmart and saw Mandrake on the shelf. It said Mandrake Linux, had a picture of a penguin on it and the star and all that good stuff. And so I bought it, and it was like 26 bucks or something. It came with 3 CDs. I installed it. It was very exciting. Anyway, long story short, I've been using Linux forever. I in no way count myself as an expert, because I'm not. I still feel like a newbie, even though I've used Linux forever. There was a year here and there where I didn't use Linux because the Windows was just basically it was what I needed to use to get my work done. You know, whatever I was doing, the software that I had. Anyway, years later, I ended up using Linux more and more, and now I use Linux. I use only Linux, except for when I open a virtual machine and maybe run TurboTax or Scrivener, which is an authoring software for writing books. Other than that, I use Linux for everything. I have, of course, several desktops, I got at least a couple laptops and some other things, and they all have Linux on them. They don't have the same version. I have some that run Linux Mint. I have some that run Garuda. I have an old desktop that runs Garuda that I use for media station and watch TV on it and stuff like that. This laptop that I'm using right here is actually OpenSuSe Tumbleweed. Now I used SUSE Linux before OpenSuSe was even a thing. Years and years ago, like I remember in 03, 04, I used SUSE quite a bit, and I liked it. But since then, I used like tons of different distributions. So right now, I'm using OpenSuSe. I installed it maybe less than a week ago, and I got to say that my laptop, everything just works on it. Like, for example, you can see here, I'm raising the, I think it'll show on the video, raising the brightness. There's only been a couple of distributions where all the buttons on my laptop actually worked. OpenSuSe is one of them. The other one was Nobara. And I don't know what it is, but no other distribution allows me to use all the buttons on my laptop. But OpenSuSe does, and I was excited just for that one button, because I've been trying for years to get. I've had this laptop maybe 3 years, and I've been trying to get Linux to utilize those buttons, and I was successful once using some scripts and doing some things that I couldn't even explain to you because it was a little complicated, and it worked, and then it started working, and it didn't work that great. So anyway, so this is OpenSuSe. So I'm using KDE, the KDE version. I like KDE more than GNOME. GNOME looks cool and it's nice, but I just can't get used to the workflow. So here's KDE, and I'll go into the system settings so we can see what version of KDE. It's the very latest, I believe. And I'm going to go to About System, and it is 5.27.2. So that's the great thing about Tumbleweed, is I get to use the latest stuff. And I like to use the latest and greatest in software in Linux. I've tried using Debian and other distros that are very stable, but I can't stand using older software when I know that there's some new software out there. Call me weird. I know I can't be the only one out there like that, but I like using rolling releases because of this, so I can have the best, newest software. Yeah, there's going to be some glitches and bugs and stuff, but you know what? I haven't run into too many issues here. I think I just had one issue in OpenSuSe, and that was when installing software, or I should say when I'm updating software. Here I'm going to go to the to Discover and let that open up, and I'll show you what I mean. If there's any updates, if there's some updates that are Flatpak applications, then I should be able to show you that. Now there's no updates right now, so I can't show you, but basically when I clicked on updates, and there were updates here, and it's happened every time I do some updates. I click on it, I click on, I get my list of updates, I click on update all, and they're all updating and stuff, and then all of a sudden I get an error message saying something about Flatpaks. And then I click the error message off, and I click update all again, and then everything installs anyway. I don't know what's causing that issue. I've never seen it before in any other distribution. Right before this, I was using KDE Neon. Before that, I believe I was using Linux Mint for a while. I'm quite the distro hopper, but when I came to this distribution and saw how much they've improved it, I decided I'm going to try to stick with this for a while, and by a while I mean 6 months or a year. We'll see if I can do it. If it happens, it's a miracle, because I have a hard time with that. So, it comes with the Firefox browser already installed. Of course, I use Brave, and I use Chrome for my work email, because we use all Google Suite applications at work. So where I work for the state. So I kind of need that, so I installed Chrome. I know a lot of people don't like to use it. And this is not the default theme that is set up automatically. I installed another theme because I thought it looked cool. I'm usually into the darker themes, but this one is a lighter theme. And you can see, yeah, it looks pretty cool. And forgot the name of it. I'm going to pull it up so you guys can see what the name is. Let me go to the system settings, go to appearance, go to global theme, and it is called right here, Frosted Deep and Classic. Let's try that out. Yeah, you see Windows 11. I'm like, I hate using Windows, but you gotta admit that there's some things about Windows that look pretty cool. I use that for a couple days, and I say, you know what? I'm the type of person that rices the crap out of the machine, and I do it like every 3 days. So that's another one of my flaws. But hey, you know what? In KDE and in Linux, you can do that. I mean, if you want to change colors, you want to change themes, wallpapers, all that kind of stuff, then you can do that. It's so easy. In Windows, you can change wallpapers and some of the colors, and you can't do much else, and I can't stand that crap. Because I like to make it look the way I want it to look. So I got the floating task manager down here. I got my most used applications down here. You can see I'm running OBS Studio to record this. I apologize that the screen. I know I keep going back to the desktop, and it's kind of boring, but I haven't done many of these videos. Matter of fact, this is the first one that I'm uploading to YouTube, and it's simply because I just want to share a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of experience on Linux. This one, you're not really going to learn anything except for a little bit about me, I guess. Other than that, if you continue to watch any of my videos, I'm going to do some tutorials. I might review a Linux distribution once in a while. Reviewing distribution isn't going to be the main thing. I know there are a lot of channels out there that do that, and I love watching those videos. For example, eBuzz Central, I like watching his videos. Are awesome, and his are mostly reviews, and sometimes they're rants, and I like hearing it all, so that's good. I like hearing different perspectives from everybody. DistroTube, of course, DT is awesome. He does all kinds of things like reviews and not so many reviews, but he does once in a while when there's some kind of distro that is interesting to him. He'll put it out there. But he does a lot of tutorials and things like that. Emacs and things that you might not ever think about unless you're a developer. So this is Yast. KDE has its own control center, but if you really want to delve deep into some of the other settings that will allow you to tweak Linux the way you want it, Yast is really good for that. It's got all kinds of different stuff. I just started using OpenSuSe again after maybe like 20 years. Yeah, it was actually about 20 years ago because we used SUSE. So I haven't figured out how to do updates in Yast. I'm sure there's a way to do it. You can install things and do an online update to install patches and things like that. But basically, if you want to do some updates, you have to go to Discover, which is the KDE version of the Software Center, like GNOME has. But I think it's it's a little more complicated than the GNOME version, but when you get used to it, it's really not hard at all. What I like to do up here is just you can search. Like for example, I'm searching for VLC. Click on that. You can click on it, and it'll give you the description, the size. I do have FlatHub set as my default application packager, is as I say it. I like FlatHub packages only because you're gonna have less issues with library files fighting with each other. So not to get all technical on you and stuff. Alrighty, but anyway, I like using Flatpaks. I mean, there's other formats. I mean, SUSE uses RPMs. You got deb files and Debian and Linux Mint and Ubuntu and things like that, and you have other weird installation processes like in Gentoo. I say weird just because I don't do it too much, but you can compile your or install from source. Manjaro, like the Arch distributions do that. Manjaro, Arco Linux, which is another great distribution, by the way. Arco Linux, I use that for several months, which I kind of set a record with because I usually don't use the distro that long. Arco is really good, and that's actually what DT from DistroTube uses. I think his name is Derek, if I'm not mistaken, but he uses Arco. He's been using an Arch-based distro for a long time. But anyway, I bet you didn't learn anything from this, but hopefully it was, you kind of just learned a little bit about me and, my Linux experiences. Very little. It's a short video. I could be talking all day about all the distros. I must have installed hundreds of different distributions and loved them all. Some more than others. Some were difficult to install, some were not. Some were difficult to use, some were real easy. The go-to desktop environment that I always end up going back to is KDE. I like Cinnamon and Linux Mint. I like GNOME. I really like the way it looks. It looks really elegant, but I just cannot get used to that workflow. I've used XFCE several times, but it's so simple that it drives me nuts. I love KDE because you can customize it so much. You can do anything with it, And KDE is catching up to GNOME as far as online account things. So like, for example, I got Google Drive installed here. Well, not Google Drive, I'm sorry. My Google account is set up in KDE and it works pretty good. I got some stuff here. But yeah, I mean, I do things with the computer, like mess with video editing. I'm actually an author. I wrote a Spanish grammar book, and I'm working on a novel, finishing that up. So for the novel, of course, I use Virtual Machine Manager because the software that I actually paid for and use only runs on Windows. And yeah, I've installed it in bottles and in wine, and I've gotten it to work, but it's never perfect, you know. So I got this right here. Here's, you know, let's check this out real quick. Now, if you're an experienced Linux user, you know exactly what this is. You use this, you've messed with it, and you're probably bored, and you're probably clicking on a different video by now. But if you haven't seen this, basically what I'm doing is I'm running Windows 10 in a virtual machine. See, I got the little box going on right here. I got Windows inside it. So I'll make it full screen, and now I got Windows and log in. There's my name. Alright, so let's see, I got Windows, and I got a piece of software called Scrivener that open up, and like I said, you can run it on Linux, but it's not the same when you run it under Wine. So, you know, to not have to endure so many headaches, especially when you finish the process of writing a book and you have to export the file into a format that that can be published, like on an ebook. For example, I published on Amazon. You know, you have to install certain software to be able to do that as well, and of course it only runs in Windows. So I use Windows for a couple of things. Like here's the book I'm working on. See, I have like a billion chapters, and you know, this virtual machine works great on my laptop. A little choppy there, but when you're writing, it's not choppy, it's fine. So, and I got TurboTax. Because that, even though I got that to work in bottles at one point, you know, we're good. But the thing is, I wiped out my laptop drive and install a different Linux distribution, and every time I do that, I lose my virtual machines. I've tried saving virtual machines and then importing them back into another install on a different distro, and it's never worked for me yet. I know there's a way to do it, but I'm not messing with that. I'm just going to do it this way and, you know, use that. Other than those two pieces of software, I use Linux for everything. Everything. So, matter of fact, I just renewed my apartment lease today. Did that on Linux in a browser. Of course, so many things you can do in a browser nowadays. But anyway, I will stop boring you guys. But this is pretty much an introductory, if I can talk right, introductory video on the kind of things I'll be talking about. And I was just all over the place. I didn't script anything out. I just kind of hit record and, you know, went for the gold. So, oh, I don't have HTOP installed. Wait a minute, guys. I gotta install HTOP here. So DNF takes like a freaking year to install stuff. That's one thing I really don't like about SUSE is I'm sorry, I'm thinking Fedora, not DNF. It's actually Zipper. If I remember the syntax, Zipper install. Let's see if I got it right. That'd be sudo for that Zipper. So let me do that. I'll install this quick before I go because I want to see what my resources are looking like. This is a Lenovo Yoga laptop. It's a 15-inch touchscreen. It's got an Intel Core i7. Got 12 gigs of RAM. I mean, it's nothing crazy like some people have 64 gigs of RAM and all this stuff. This is, but it's pretty good though. It's pretty good laptop, and you can see right there. Maybe you can't because it's probably too small. But maybe I can try to enlarge that sucker. All right, so yeah, it's using 2.64 gigs. Now when I do a cold boot and go straight into SUSE and I open this up, not that I've done it yet because you just saw me install HTOP, but it's probably going to be around 1.2 gigs or something like that, maybe less. I don't know. But I got. You know, I have the Brave browser open. I've got OBS Studio open. I just opened and closed Virtual Machine, but I got 12 gigs of RAM, so you know it's running nice on here, and it's got an octa-core processor, so you can see all my different processors going to town right now, and all the stuff in the background. But anyway, hope you liked the video, even though it probably sucked. That's alright. It's my first video that I'm putting on. I will have some videos that I'll be doing in the future, and I will be uploading them on YouTube, and just for something to do. I'm not planning to make a whole bunch of money. I'm not planning to make this my life, my second job, nothing like that. It's just something I've always wanted to do because I like talking about Linux. So I'm gonna do that. Of course, as you can see, besides Linux, I like watching football. So, I'm a Raiders fan. I like checking out what's going on with the Saints, stuff like that. And Linux, of course. So, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, or anything else like that, go ahead and put them in the comments. If you like the video, like it. If you think it sucks, hit the thumbs down. That's okay. I'd rather have honesty than somebody just trying to, sugar me up. It's no good. And I'm not trying to please anybody really with this video because I know it's kind of stink, but this is just something to get started with, something to practice with, and to let everybody know that, hey, I'm going to be putting some videos out there. Like I said, I might do a review or two, do some tutorials, things like that. If you guys have any kind of videos that you would like me to put up, and that'll give me an idea of what, if I know what people like to see, then that's what I can put up, and then maybe, I'll get 2 or 3 subscribers or something. You know what I mean? If not, that's cool. It's fun anyway. So you guys have a good day. I appreciate your time. I hope that I didn't waste it. And I'll see you next time.